Hey guys, how is everybody doing today? Hope everyone's having a great day. I guess we could look at the market while we're waiting for people to get here. All right, I'm also testing my audio. I think the video looks a lot better, but what do you guys think about the audio? I think I have it fixed. I'm using this. I don't know if this is better than I think the thing that's echoing so much is the webcam. We were on webcam audio this morning. I actually think the computer has better audio than the webcam, and I guess I can switch back to the computer audio if I have to. I'm just trying to find out what's better, the computer or the microphone. I'd rather not have to use the microphone because it's just one extra thing to hook up, but I'll use whichever one sounds better, particularly for my interview tomorrow. All right, so let's share the screen and we'll see what's going on. Discord is blowing up. Discord is blowing up. All right, so you gotta like that rally back. You gotta love a little rally back. Bitcoin rally, everything's rallying right now. That's good. Let's turn on the 30-minute chart. Let's see what we have. Vicious little sell-off this morning, but not near as vicious as about a month ago. We did the same thing a month ago, made a new high, then had a vicious, quick sell-off down here to the 62.30 level or so. I was thinking that we might have basically that. Look, this is the same pattern. I was thinking, and hoping that that this doesn't turn into one like that, because that was even a more vicious of a sell-off. And neither of them are anything compared to something like April. So, all right. Well, I'm just glad the market bounced. So it got out of balance and it bounced right back up to, it looks like it's going to close right at the right on mean, this is the trading range it's in. It's trying to stay in anyway. It tried to drop out of it this morning, but there was buyers there. There was buyers there. So that's good news. That's good news. The test is going to be trying to get through this area, trying to get through this low volume node. Might expect sellers to be there the first time we approach it. We'll see. We might be there tomorrow morning. When we get on the other side of that low volume node, then we're probably back to 65.60 or 64.60. We shall see. All right. So the Qs or the NASDAQ, similar looking deal. Let's actually look at the Qs. This big red area was a huge down gap that's been violated. So now the bulls have it. I should have changed the color of it, and looks like the bulls still have it. Well, I can't find my color thing. Anyway, it's fine. It should be right up here, I would think. There it is. There it is. We'll definitely get, this is definitely bullish territory. I mean, it was bearish territory. Then the bulls made it their territory, and it was tested today. And so far, the bulls have reclaimed it. We don't want it. We definitely don't want to get on the other side of it, though. All right, so let's check out the SPY. Well, I mean, on the SPY, it just, just looks like we fell out of this higher balance at 645 and we fell into the lower one at 637. The lowest volume node on the whole chart is right here. Well, it's actually right here. The second lowest volume one is right here, and it's where they bought the dip this morning. All right, you like to see that. I like to see that. So let's see what else we could look at. Let's look at Bitcoin. 30-minute chart of Bitcoin and see where it's trading in relation to its trading ranges and that kind of stuff. Well, I do this every time. I need to save a different one. We'll just look at Coinbase. All right. Coinbase has enough volume where you can actually see the trading ranges. All right. Well, 113 is the trading range we're in. Looks like 114.3 was too high. 112.4 was too low. Mean in this trading range is 113.3. Hopefully we can get enough momentum and start getting some higher trading ranges. There's one up here at 115 that'd be nice to get in, and then there's one up here at 117 that'd be really nice to get in. This would also help Mr. out. Mr's been in the dumps lately, and Mr is bouncy today, just like everything. That's good. Mr's going to have a problem right here, though. I mean, it's, you can just plain as day. There's a gigantic low volume node. Bulls really want to get it on the really want to get Mr on the other side of 360, because then it'll probably snap into balance at 370 or 390 or even 400. They just got to start chewing up these trading ranges. But this is a huge fair value gap right here, where there were sellers galore. We'll see if they're there. We'll see if they're there tomorrow and the next day. All right. Well, I'm glad to see that, though. Why is NVIDIA down? Well, that sucks. See if there's anything else that stands out. USO, oil. What's the oil doing? That one's boring to look at. Let's look at pros and Joes. Here's the pros. The pros this morning, just today, have sold volatility. But in the broader scheme of things, buying volatility. I said this morning the pros were selling volatility. I meant buying volatility. The pros have been buying volatility, adding hedges since the last day of the month. If you look at the trend, and if you ignore the noise and look at the trend, I mean, the pros are hedging, the Joes doing just the opposite. Well, let's go back to the same date, though. Last day of the month was right there. So actually, the Joes did hedge for a little bit, but then starting on about August 5th, they've been selling vol. If you look at the trend, they've been selling vol. All right, so pros are usually right. We'll see what happens. All right, so let's look at some other stuff. The Alti Trade Tracker, I showed you guys this morning. I went ahead and did the dividend estimate for last week. They paid 10 and I figured 9. Now, I didn't have the exact shares outstanding, and that's probably why there's a little difference. I just had to, well, I had the shares outstanding for one day that I found, and I just made it for the whole week because I couldn't find the other days. Shares outstanding has been increasing since last week, and generally it has, but since Friday or since Monday, we've shed about 10,000 shares. Same thing with AUM. We've shed about 200 million, or 165, or actually 165 plus 16, whatever that is, 181, something like that. Shed about 181 mil. All right, so let's look over here at let's see how this is going. Not that one, not at all that one. Let's see how this is going. All right, let's check in on the database from hell. That looks like it's working. Holy cow. You got to be kidding me. I mean, there's YYY is loading, but who cares? YYY is not going to be on there anyway. XBTY is loading. I'd like to see what that one's up to. USOY is loading, but half the list isn't loading. Looks like about 10% of the list is loading. Anyway, so let's just go ahead and take our chances on a getting a 20-day, getting a top 20 list and see what we come up with. And then we'll look at the 20 long-term also. I made my outline of my interview tomorrow. If you guys want me to go over the questions with you, I could tell you what I got. I'm really proud of it. I think I thought of some good questions, put some thought into it, spent about an hour this morning, and then I emailed Mike Coe and Josh, the marketing guy from YieldMax, the brand manager. And so I, emailed both of them and told them what I was planning on asking. And all right, look at Goop jumped into number one. Now, how the heck that happened? It happened because that's why I hate this freaking thing. It happened because Hui isn't working. I guarantee freaking to you every freaking time. I just don't know why I can't get this to work. I guarantee you that's why. I mean, Goop's not supposed to be number one. The ones that are ahead of it are just not working. Gosh darn it. I should have just left the other list up. We'll try the same thing with the top 20 long-term. It'll probably mess it up too. Watch, Maxie won't be on here anymore or something. We'll see. It'd be just such a simple thing to pull a price off the internet. I just don't get it. And at the same time, I just don't have time to jack with it. I just want it to work. It should be simple. Yeah, of course. Well, Maxie fell down to number 2, and that's probably legit. YBTC passed it, and I like that. I think YBTC is a better idea than Maxie. I like YBTC. YBTC doesn't get any respect. Anyway, but here's Goop. I mean, Goop is doing well. Is Google like melting up today or something? And maybe that's causing the. Oh, let's just pull up Goop. Well, no, not that. I mean, it's down 2.13%, so that's not it. I don't know. Maybe other ones are dropping. A lot of the high beta names have been dropping, and that could also affect it. OARC looking good. AMZP looking good, and old iGold is looking good. You got to love you some iGold. Did you guys notice that we were talking this morning about BCCC? That one's a weekly pay. That's incredible. That's a weekly pay. I mean, I guess pretty much everything's a weekly pay, but that's a weekly pay Bitcoin one. It just kind of surprised me because it's Global X. Global X, I mean, they're Wall Street, boring monthly pay at the money option, just boring. And now they have one that's weekly pay that's going to yield, 50%, 60% or something. That's incredible. I mean, welcome to the party, Global X. Welcome to the freaking party. All right, the get paid every day list. There's no reason to run that. It'll probably be messed up too. I just got to get this fixed. I have to get this fixed. Anyway, all right, well, whatever. See if any of these trades are working out. The Alti copy trades, they look better than they did this morning. This morning, there's a lot of red on the screen. So we have a trade in Affirm. It's up a little bit. We have a trade in Unity Software. It's down a little bit, and that's the real one. That's the big boy, not my version of it. Then we have CoreWeave. These are pretty much flat on the day. So we have the small fry version is down 650 in Unity Software. The big version is down 650. It's the same thing. It is the same exact thing. Well, let's look at Affirm. It's the same thing on Affirm too, to the penny, 46.50. The big boy Affirm with it's the same thing. It is the same thing. All right, so this Palo Alto Networks trade looks really good. This is a good looking trade. These guys know more than we do, and that's a winner right there. That is a winner. If you have that on, it's time to take that off. Take that off and take your wife to dinner tonight. It's a good looking trade. And then my version was up even a little bit more than their version. Probably just a difference in the I put their actual fills in, and I probably just took the last price on mine. So that's probably why it made a little bit more. But you got to love knowing how to do a collar uh, without having stock. I bet other influencers don't talk about that. That's the kind of stuff I like. You can really amplify your risk adjusted return once you understand synthetics. Um, you know, nothing wrong with a collar. Go spend $18,000 and buy Palo Alto Networks. That's fine too. Doesn't matter. I'd rather tie up 1,400 than 18,000. That's just me. Money's the same. Making 1,000 on 1,400 is better than making 1,000 on 18,000, right? All right, so that's it for the option stuff. Let's look at the index buffer report. Clown market, yeah. We know it's here today. I wonder what's going on. Is Rod having a live stream or something? Usually, I've been doing really good on these live streams. How does the audio sound? I guess I'll have to go listen to it back. I hope this sounds better than this morning. I really didn't think this morning. I don't think the microphone that's inside the camera, the webcam, is that bad. It is kind of echoey, but I didn't think it was that bad. I just think it sounds different than my regular microphone, but I think people would get used to it. But anyway, I'll do it whichever way sounds best. Maybe I should just go back to computer audio but webcam video. I can definitely do that because the way we used to have it, this computer, for all its other faults, has a good microphone because I never got any complaints about the audio. I used to always get complaints about the microphone on the MacBook Pro, and that's why I bought this. And that really helped the MacBook Pro. And I used to use this, but then I realized it's no different. Or the audio is just as good as this is, I think. All right, so let's look at the index buffer report. If you guys have any questions, give them to me. But otherwise, I'm going to get out of here and go listen to Mike Coe. He has on his own podcast today at 3:15, and I like to listen to it. The other day, we were having a good time going back and forth, asking a bunch of questions. So I missed about half of it because I was enjoying hanging out with you guys. But there's no one even in here today. But I do want to go over the questions. I'll bounce these questions off Marcus and see how he thinks these sound. Marcus and the other two people that are in here. All right, so well, I like this. I mean, I'm pulling for Misty. It's just, I think a lot of people just think Misty won't go down because they think Bitcoin can't go down, and the reason they think Bitcoin can't go down is because it's not inflationary, because there's a limited supply. But Misty is and I don't even think that's true, but I don't even want to get into that with the Bitcoin maxis. But anything can go down. But what I do think, though, is even if you believe that the Bitcoin can't go down and won't go down, that's fine. But Misty is a derivative. It has its own economics that are definitely tied to Bitcoin. But anyway, but I'd like to see it bounce back up so these people that are in the hole aren't in the hole anymore, because it's been a rough go for Misty, and there's a lot of people that own that. So anyway, this is good today, and what's good about it is they're catching like 90% of the upside. I wonder if Jay has part of it uncovered. I wonder, and I don't follow the Misty trades, but wouldn't be surprised if they have part of it uncovered or whatever. But anyway, they're catching a lot of upside in JPMO, more than the parent. That's good. Also in Tony, catching a lot of upside, not more than the parent. On the bad list, we have Palti, down more than the parent. And we have some other ones catching about 90% of the parent's downside. Murni, Aptly, AMZ. YMAG is down more than the parent. All right, I guess let's go here. Let's do the Crypto Trinity. I forgot to show this. Probably need to go update the trade for Galaxy. This has Galaxy up 3. Is that right? Or is it Circle? I always forget which one it is. Oh, that's the allocation. Okay, let's go to the verse. Yeah, it's Galaxy and it's down 5. So this is like a nightly freaking ritual. I freaking hate this. I don't understand how Google could be so bad and they just won't give you a quote on something. They'll give you a quote on everything else. Won't give you a quote on this. Now it's up 5.68. Is that right, or is that 1 year? Is that the daily? It's 1 year total return overview. Let me look here. Okay, no, it's up 1.74. Okay, so now let's go back to the Altiverse and see how that factors in. It'll definitely help it. ULTY down 17 bips. The average down 15 bips. Nice job. Nice job. Things are bouncing back. You got to love it. Let's go over here to the LFGY verse. And let's fix Galaxy. Close enough for government work. Now let's go over here. There we have it. Look at old LFGY. Well, let's see if my theory works. So LFGY is middle of the road. So it should be down it should be in the middle between blocks and Alti. So it's up more than Alti. So we'd actually expect blocks to be up more than either of them because it's the most bullish. So let's go look at blocks. And blocks does not have galaxies. Now they do, of course. All right, sure enough. So it's good to understand how these strategies actually work. And on a down day, this one's going to lead, but on an up day, it's also going to lead. Other things being equal, just based on the way they structured their trades. Great job. Look at Ether up 5% today. Bitcoin immersion killing it. You got to love that. You're going to love that, right? Blockchain's even up. HUD 8, Mara, MicroStrategies. Alti dump MicroStrategies. So let me go back to Alti here. Yeah, there's an Alti dump MicroStrategies. But anyway, on the yield max chart, that whatever they're doing, whatever Jay and them are doing in MicroStrategies or Misty's working because they're catching about 90% of the upside of the parent. Great job. All right. So we've looked at all that stuff. So what do you guys want to talk about? I'm going to read my notes let me tell you what I'm going to talk to these guys about. Yeah, I know I'm a streamer now and I do have to keep my equipment fresh. So, and I'm going to so the next time I get equipment, I'm going to get a webcam that's not, that doesn't use the fisheye or whatever. And it's not too bad, but I think this is made for this is something you want in a conference room. Like if you're, if you have a business and you have 5 people sitting around the table, this would be a perfect webcam because it can see everybody. But for what I'm trying to do, I just need a portrait webcam, and I just didn't know that. So, I'll do that next time. Now there's 7 of you guys here. Okay, so let's talk about this. Well, I'll just tell them to you. So, all right. So here's what I'm going to ask. So I'm going to ask Mike Coe. So first of all, I'm going to ask him: is it true that owning the shares gives you an advantage over owning the synthetics? I know a lot of people think that, and I've always disagreed with that. But we'll see what he thinks. A lot of people think if you own the shares, you don't have NAV erosion. and or the NAV does better or something. It makes it a better fund or whatever. And that's fine if that's your opinion. I mean, you do you, but I mean, it's the same difference. But we'll see what Mike says. I also asked him to comment on a long time ago on Options Action. He was on Options Action, and they were asking about when these funds first came out. They were asking this time about the ones that sell the daily options. I think they're talking about Defiance, writing that daily put. And Dan Nathan said it's an accident waiting to happen. And Tim Seymour, who's usually a smart guy, said it's like picking up nickels in front of a steamroller, and that's not true either. It's the opposite. I made a video about this, and Melissa Lee said something. They all chimed in, but I'm going to give him a chance to say, are these like picking up nickels in front of the steamroller? And if not, whatever. Yeah, no, I know a lot of people believe that. I know a lot of people believe that. We'll ask him for his opinion. I won't, I mean, you know what I think about it. I'll shut up and I'm just going to ask him. I wrote it out real professional, and I wrote out exactly how I'm going to say it. And we're just talking about different narratives that are going around the internet. I'm also going to ask him about, well, you remember, here's a different narrative that I also disagreed with. I disagree with all the narratives on the internet, basically. But anyway, remember the narrative that some of these were switching to swaps so they didn't have NAV erosion or whatever. And that was, and I think we all understand that's not true, but that was going around, remember, because somebody switched to prospectus, and, influencers were saying, well, they did this to control the NAV erosion. It has nothing to do with it. And actually what happened, that leads to my next question, why some of the funds switched to swaps is they were using total return swaps, and they aren't even selling options. They're just paying off they're paying the yield with just out of the selling stock, basically. It's not really stock because they're using a swap, but so I'm going to ask him what's the difference, but is that a problem? Or, can you evaluate funds that use option premium versus funds that use swaps and pay out of principal? And okay, what other, then I'm also talking about narratives, and I'm going to talk about the narrative that I started. I started the narrative that whenever interest rates go back to zero, these funds aren't going to be nearly as attractive. It's just because of the Greeks and the Black-Scholes model. And one of the inputs in the Black-Scholes model is called RHO, R-H-O. And that's the input that's for interest rates. And that directly factors into the way options are priced. And I even made a video, and you guys saw it, where I went back and I showed some covered call funds back when things were compressed, and they paid about half as much. And it will and can happen again, in my opinion. We won't ask for my opinion. No one wants my opinion, or you guys already know it. Well, I'm going to ask him that question too. I'm going to ask him to dispel that narrative. Then other than that, I'm going to ask him about Salty and Alti. I'm going to ask him about Salty and Alti, and I'm going to ask him is it true that you can take, is it true that you could quit your job, take $100,000 and buy ULTY, so it pays 80%, 60% even, and replace a $60,000 a year job? And of course the answer is no, but I'll let him explain it. He's like a professor. He doesn't just say a bunch of crazy stuff, like I do. And he'll go through everything. Well, no, actually it's because of this. And then you also have to consider this. In other words, he's a smart guy and gives really thoughtful answers, unlike me. So, but I'm going to put those in front of him. And then after that, I figure that'll take about 30 minutes to dispel those narratives and talk about that stuff. And then after that, you guys can take over. You guys can ask him, why won't Misty go up, or whatever you want to do. Yeah, I know Salty comes out tomorrow. So that'll probably be my first question. I figure they have him on because they're trying to promote Salty. So I'm going to ask him, and I'll give him a layup, a good, easy Salty question too. But I'm going to have him dispel the narrative that you could use Salty to hedge Alti. Just do it 50-50 and you can't lose money, because that's not true. You actually do pretty poorly at 50-50, but you can do an 80-20, 85-15 and do all right, or just do 100% Alti and don't worry, you don't have to hedge it. But I'll let him promote it. Also, I'm going to look at the sounds great. Okay, well, I got this hooked up this morning. You're right, Dan. Even though I hooked it up on the USB, it has to be set up, so it was still doing the camera audio. Yeah. So anyway, that's problem solved. Audio's great. I'll make sure to have this hooked up from now on. And the video looks awesome. I mean, I like that the video looks good. I mean, it's awesome. I guess I should just go like this when I'm just shooting the breeze with you guys. But yeah, that's the rough. That's my interview. So, but I expect you guys to take over for the second half, or the people listening. And I'm sure you guys will have all kinds. Not you guys, but the people listening will ask them about, when will Misty go up again? And instead, just the newbie type questions, and that's fine. And that'll be the second half of the show. But I'm excited about having him on. I think it's going to be good. I'm also asked him if these things are going to zero, if it's something else. Another narrative is that these funds require new money coming in to pay the old investors, which also isn't true. Like we talked about this morning, they don't trade on supply and demand. They trade on the value of the NAV in the fund. Now that's during market hours, but during after hours, they do trade on supply and demand. You know what happened yesterday? And I guarantee, hey, Matt, hey, Retire, what's up? Thanks for being here, bud. You know what happened yesterday whenever Alti was traded down to 459? I guarantee you somebody that should not be in these funds was overloaded and got a margin call after hours, or didn't take care of their margin call and whatever. And so they had to sell. And after hours, it's thin, and it triggered stop losses, but there was also buy stops down there. I think it's a good deal. Do you guys do that? Put buy limits in after hours? Put a buy limit in $1 under after hours, just in case that happens again. And because I can see it happening yesterday because people were getting killed in ULTY. Can you imagine being on 100% margin, people that think these are free money and stuff, and maybe they bought the high or something? Yeah, I guarantee that was a margin call, and that's what happened. But the pros, snapped it right back up, 459 or something. Then it was back trading at 570 this morning. That's probably a good thing. I need to do that. I need to do that in my brother-in-law's account. I never even thought about doing that. I don't even use limits for these. Who cares? I'm just trying to allocate for the long term. I'll go in and just get something. But I trade during market hours, and these are usually pretty liquid, so I'll just get it. But maybe I should pick something I want. Like I want to pick up some blocks for him. I don't think it'll happen to blocks, though, is the thing. It's only going to be on the ones like Alti and Misty. But on Alti, I think you could do that. I think you could put a limit in after hours for $1 under. And if something like that, especially when there's been a bad couple of days and margin calls might get triggered. Next time I think that's going to happen, I'll try to warn you guys about that ahead of time. And maybe we can get, I know somebody in our Discord did pick up some for a lot cheaper, but Reddit was just going crazy last night saying Alti was crashing and all this, but it's just so much. I mean, these funds are great to cover, but there's just so much bad information out there. And I guess it's just because it's hot money. People see the 70% yield and they think yield equals total return. Okay. Yeah. But that would be amazing. I know it. And what do you have to lose? I guess maybe it's a big stop run and you get filled $1 lower, then it goes $2 lower or something. I mean, yeah. I mean, you're kind of taking a guess, but I mean, I just think put an order in for 100 shares, $1 under, just in case that happens. And I think it's better to do it on days where you might get margin calls. And it was totally predictable. Guarantee there was margin calls back earlier in the month when we went down further. And so anyway, we need to start doing that. We need to start doing that. Yeah, Black Swan events would definitely be bad. And it was definitely 24-hour trading. And that's the thing. I mean, there's nothing wrong with 24-hour trading, but I bet somebody got liquidated. And it happens after hours. They probably had till 3 to bring their money to the table, or 4. They don't do it. And the risk manager, just cut them loose after hours. They don't care. The fund just wants their money back. Somebody had Alti on margin. They didn't bring their money. I guarantee you. So the risk manager, the fund just blew out the thing after hours. But yeah, it was a gift for smart people with buy limits underneath the market. Yeah, and the camera is excellent. Thanks to, you can thank, I don't know if he wants me an acknowledgement, but somebody in here made a generous donation to the station, and I bought the camera with the generous donation. But anyway, and I really appreciate it. The station has not been doing well. until about 2 weeks ago. Now it's doing well again. By next month, we're going to be killing it next month. But anyway, it's been a rough month. But anyway, thank you guys so much for all the support and stuff. But yeah, it's awesome to have a good camera. I mean, I just have to shave is the only thing. I'll have to shave every day. I mean, heck, with that old camera, some days I wouldn't even take a shower. I wouldn't even comb my hair. You could barely see anything, especially if the lights were kind of dark. I mean, it just didn't matter. But now I go and I brush my hair and I shave, anyway. All right. So what time is it? 3:16. So I'll probably go watch Mike Coe. We've shot the breeze. We've shot the breeze enough. Blocks are surviving a lot while paying a dividend. Yeah, it is. It is. And maybe, but I bet you Blocks is one that if we have a downturn, I mean, you might be able to buy Blocks $1 under the next time we have a downturn, because people might get blown out of that one too. But it's probably going to be Misty and Alti, the ones that too many people are in. I mean, these funds are great, but there's more people in Alti than need to be. In my opinion, because, and I'm talking about people on Reddit and Twitter. There's a jillion. I mean, Alti should have $1 billion under management. It's a great fund, but it shouldn't have 3 billion. That's a bubble. Misty's a great fund, but it bubbled. It's just a bubble. Yeah, we can wear the Blocks hat. I know it. I don't know. I'm so mad because Jackson chewed up my favorite hat is Keep Austin Weird, and Jack's chewed it up. Here we go. I just don't like the shape of the Blocks hat. There's an influencer that I just do not like at all. I'm going to pull up his picture, and he always has hats like this. I know I'm not sharing the screen. I'm not trying to share the screen until I can find him. He's a MAGA influencer too, and I'm fine with MAGA, but there's just, I mean, this guy kills me. He's just such a I just can't stand this guy. Like I say, it has nothing to do with MAGA, but he wears a hat like this lots of time. I'm trying to find a picture. Hang on. But it's the same shape, and I'm just not into this. If I could show it to you, you guys would know exactly what I mean. His name's Stephen Gardner. Anyway, there's not in the first couple of videos that come up. I didn't see it. Let me see it one more time. Hang on. He wears the same. It's not a Blocks hat, but it's the same. It's that same style. I just don't like the cut of this hat. Now there it is, kind of. I mean, yeah, this is it. And like I say, I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything bad about MAGA. I know lots of you guys are MAGA too. That's fine. But I just do not like this look. Okay, I'm going to share the screen now. Hang on. I'm going to share the screen. I mean, this guy has great teeth. He must have veneers. He has beautiful white teeth. I mean, I'm sure he's a smart guy. I don't want to make anyone mad. So was I sharing the screen or not? Let's see. Oh, let's see. Let's do it like this. Or let's do it like, hang on, let me try it like this. All right, so, yeah, I just, the shape of it, I guess we kind of have the same glasses on too. I just don't have as good of teeth. That guy has beautiful teeth. But I would like to get some more stuff behind me. I like the set. I need to start acquiring some more knickknacks and stuff. But yeah, I just do not like that look. And a lot of people wear those hats. And I just do not don't care for that look. So, but I appreciate, hey, big news. The Blocks guy, David, is going to be on next Wednesday, a week from today at 1:00. So anyway, be looking for that. We have all kinds of good stuff going on. Yeah, it does look like a skyscraper. I mean, but this is the same kind. I don't know. I just think this one it's the same. I mean, that's how he looks. He sits there and he talks about President Trump. President Trump is the greatest, most transparent president in the history of our lifetime. President Trump. Anyway, like I say, he has great teeth. He has great teeth, but also, I mean, but today I did the 3 S's, shower, shave, and the other S, and got all cleaned up. And so I like to get cleaned up, and then we don't have to worry about wearing the blocks hat. But I'll wear the blocks hat in the morning if I don't have time to do one of the 3 S's. All right, well, guys, I appreciate it. I'm going to get out of here, and I'm going to go watch Mike Coe and kind of think about my interview tomorrow. If you guys have any questions, I can slip an extra one in. If you thought of another narrative that you want him to dispel or something, you can tell me about it in Discord, and maybe I'll put it in. Or if not, just watch the live stream and just ask it yourself. So Alti and Salty is going to be the new trendy combo. Yeah, I'm going to stay on top of them. I'm going to start doing the dividend estimate and Salty too. If I'm doing Alti, I'm going to build, that's why I built that dividend tracker. I'm going to dividend track Salty also and track both of them together. And it is going to be the new hot pair. But a long time ago, I was hoping people would use Tesla and crash like 80-20, something like that. But that never caught on. And I was really hoping people would use like QDTE and triple QI. But, Jay will even tell you he's been disappointed with the lack of adoption of the inverses. And that's why it's taken so long to bring Salty out. They've known about Salty. I gave them the symbol last June. I know it takes a lot more than somebody giving them the symbol, but they'd already had the idea going because we were talking about it last June. They came out with the prospectus in October, and it took them like 10 months to bring it out. I just think Jay thinks the demand isn't there. So I'm going to be curious. A lot of the people in Alti are it's a gambler's mentality. It's people that are thinking, it makes 80%, 90, 100%. It's free money. And so I think those kinds of people, they don't want to hear about a hedge. They aren't buying it. They're buying it because they don't want that 80%. They don't want to, so I don't know. Most people are not like me. They're like all in. They're all, they wouldn't even think about hedging Misty with winter because because it's going up. Hodl, it's just a different attitude than I have. Anyway, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. And thanks for everything. And I will talk to you later. Hit me up in Discord. All right. Or if you guys have my number, you can text me, whatever. But hit me up later if you want to talk. All right. See ya.